everyone. My name is Pina, I'm 28 and I'm an Italian living in Brussels. I'm a strong feminist advocate and I believe in the power of images in countering gender-based violence. This is why, around a year ago, I started my Punto G Spot embroidery project, and I hope I can share my hobby with you today. In this video I will show you one of my hobbies, which is embroidery. And we will embroider a vulva, the design of a vulva, because all my designs, all the things I embroider are things that kind of relate to activism, things that I wear that send a message, and I think it's a very cool way to wear the change you want to see. To embroider this t-shirt, we need floss, we will need scissors, we will need a soft pencil, a needle with big eye, which means that it has a bigger hole for the floss and the strands to fit easily into, and then we need a hoop, so something to keep our t-shirt in this case stretched. The pencil was to draw and design what you want to kind of embroider on your piece of cloth. In this case, this is a t-shirt, a cotton t-shirt, and you can use a pencil or you can use a specific fabric felt pen. It's a felt pen that is usually purple or blue, and it's kind of much more visible than a pencil. Also, it fades away on its own. So it's a specific kind of pen you can buy in a craft shop usually, and you can use for this. So first off, we start by cutting the floss. We will cut a bit of a longer piece, because what I do is that I fold it in half. The longer the piece of floss, the easier it is to tangle and for you to get stuck in your design. Okay, so we have separated the floss. I have already separated also the other part. So I have three strands of two, three flosses of 2 strands, and then I can put it into the eye of the needle, and again fold it in half. So you fold it in half and you try to make it more or less even at the top. If it's not possible, it's okay anyway. So we're going to make a little knot at the end of the floss to make sure that the strands are not going to fall apart or untangle or come undone. So usually I don't knot, and you will be able to not do the knots at some point, because what happens with the knot is that it will, if you embroider a t-shirt and you want to wear it, you will see or feel the kind of little bump behind the t-shirt. So there are techniques to avoid doing a knot, but for beginning, I mean in the beginning, I think it's more than okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do backstitch. So I have already do the drawing. It's also here on a piece of paper. You can reference on a piece of paper or not. And we can start with a backstitch. So we take our needle and we come through the back of the fabric. So we find our first point and we come through the fabric. Usually I start from the bottom. So you pull your floss all the way up. You decide the length of your stitch, you point your needle and you go back, and your first stitch is done. You then take another point approximately 1 stitch length away, which means the same kind of length as the first stitch, and you go again from the back. You pull the floss all the way up, and then you go back in the last hole of the stitch before, or very, very close to it. So you go back down, and then from the back again you come up and go down. I'm not a perfectionist, so I don't mind if my stitches are different lengths or they're not perfectly matching. If you are, it's a matter of patience, which I don't necessarily have. So you go on like this. So then every time you come from the back, you pull all the way up, and then you go back into the hole of the stitch before. You're gonna do this for quite a while. So naturally one piece of floss is not gonna be enough because we don't cut it very long. So we're gonna have to close and the work and then start again. So right now we are not left with a lot of the floss. So I will already close it. To close it, you're not going to simply make a knot. We're going to try to make it a bit more seamless. So what you do is you pass through the different stitches you have done. First backwards, bit like this. Try not to pass through the fabric again, and then again upwards. So we are sure that the floss is secure and it's done. And so what you can then do is you can just take your scissors and cut. And then we're going to take another piece of floss and start again. So again, we do we take another piece of floss, we fold it in half, we try to knot it if I ever manage, and then we start again. And for a backstitch, it's important that, as it's called backstitch, you know, it's from the back, but also it kind of goes backwards. So the first stitch we do goes again from the whole of the stitch before downwards. That's gonna be our first stitch, and then the stitches following will be upwards, so that we can always find the previous hole to go back into, and we continue our design there. There is no need to stop, close the work you've done and start again. If it's a small gap and if the fabric is thick enough, there's no need. Obviously, if the fabric is a bit thinner, then you might want to stop because you can see through. But again, if you're not a perfectionist, no need. Okay, we're almost done. You can see, I will also zoom in later, there are several different sizes of stitches I have made. I'm not very precise, but you can decide. You can also see how they look in the different sizes and decide which one you prefer. Now we're coming to the clit, and I'm doing very tiny stitches, and I'm doing several, like one on the other in different directions, so that I can more or less create this effect of a tiny circle, and then it's going to symbolize our clit. You can draw pretty simple. So you don't even need to sometimes use the pencil, but as you can see with the pencil it's much easier with lines. Overall inside it should look like this. Now here there is a bit of mess with some longer strand I didn't close, but I'm going to close one last time. So as I said, we go first downwards and then upwards, so that we make sure that we are super secure. If you want, on the very last on this very last stitch, you can just cut it off close to the needle and then try to knot it. So you can do one final knot, and that's it. Done, secure, and cut. You can cut the extra things here, and that's it. That's our embroidered t-shirt. The embroidered t-shirt is done. I hope you can all embroider your t-shirts and wear them in the days of actions against gender-based violence, and show solidarity and our claims all around with the t-shirts.